Good morning. I'm John Jones, Chairman of the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority. This meeting is being conducted in compliance with the notice and public posting provisions of the Oklahoma Open Meeting Act. This meeting is an in-person meeting open to the public for observation and is also being live streamed and recorded for remote viewing. The time is 10:03 a.m. and I'm calling the March 3rd, 2026 regular meeting of the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority to order. Charity, please call the roll.
Mr. Olberry.
Here.
Mr. Todd Cohn.
Here.
Mr. David Madigan. Mr. John Tidsworth.
Here.
Ms. Dana Weber. Mr. John Jones.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. For the purpose of our meeting this morning, we are going to be conducting all votes via voice. First thing I'd like to do is recognize our special and distinguished guests. First, I'd like to introduce Toby Keith's family and recognize them. Tricia Covell is here with us. Thank you. Steelan Covell, Shelley Covell, and Crystal Keith. Thank you for being here. It's an honor. Other distinguished guests are Senator Lisa Standridge, Senator George Burns, Representative Jason Blair, and Senator Darcy Eck. Thank you for coming, and we appreciate your support. First items are the safety awards. I believe Trent.
Good morning, Chairman Jones, members of the authority. I have Cooper Duke here with me to help me present these awards. He's our safety manager for the Turnpike Authority. And what we're doing today, we're recognizing those in our maintenance division for their exceptional safety records in 2025. These maintenance divisions represent our frontline employees who are faced with hazards every day. This past year, this was brought to light all too personally for us this past year with what happened on the Will Rogers. These men and women that work for the Turnpike Authority, that work for the DOT, DPS, having to be out there every day on the road with the hazards, with people traveling up and down the roads at high speeds, not paying attention. It's a dangerous job. And we want to recognize them today for their commitment and their determination as OTA employees and working towards that common goal of everybody going home at the end of the day. So we have two awards that we're going to give out today. Each recipient will come forward when their name is called to receive the award, and then we'll take a group picture with the recipients to follow after all the awards are announced. The two awards are the first one is a perfect safety record. This means there were 0 incidents for the entire year resulting in personal injury, which is quite a feat considering their work environment. And then the second one is for those turnpikes with outstanding safety records, which means a turnpike had 0 lost time injuries. So without any more delay, for those that had a perfect safety record, I would like to recognize the Creek Turnpike, formerly managed by Superintendent Jerry Jenkins and currently managed by Superintendent Ricky Kinsey. The second group is the Kickapoo Turnpike, which is managed by Supervisor Jeremy Spart. And then our second award for the turnpikes with an outstanding safety record is the Cherokee Turnpike, managed by Superintendent Cody Burton. The H.E. Bailey Turnpike, managed by Superintendent Kevin Wallace, and the Indian Nation Turnpike, managed by Superintendent Benny Wester, but being represented today by Bernard Ellis. We just want to say congratulations to all of these leaders and recognize today for their efforts, and congratulations to all the maintenance employees on their accomplishments. Thank you for everything you do day in and day out for one another and for our traveling patrons. Thank you to all of our division directors and their assistants. These awards signify their commitment to safety. They lead with their hearts, and they support safety at OTA in every way imaginable. Thank you.
Our next recognition and award involves the Highway Patrol Trooper of the Month Award, Major Al Reed.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Morning.
I am quite pleased and honored to present this month's Trooper of the Month for this meeting. Lieutenant Kerry Massey, if you would come up here. The most exciting part about this is the first award I'll be given to a member of the patrol that's been on longer than I have. So I'm pretty excited about that. On January 1st, 2026, at approximately 9:18 a.m., Lieutenant Massey and several troopers were eating breakfast at the McDonald's restaurant on the H.E. Bailey Turnpike. Lieutenant Massey noticed an elderly woman that began choking on her food. Lieutenant Massey, who is also a trained medic, immediately recognized the medical emergency and took control of the situation by initiating the Heimlich maneuver. Despite repeated attempts, only small portions of the obstruction were initially dislodged. The woman's condition rapidly deteriorated, and she became unable to speak, cough, or breathe. As further efforts were made to assist her, she suddenly went limp and became unresponsive. Lieutenant Massey ensured she was safely lowered to the ground and immediately resumed life-saving measures. Through continued and determined efforts, Lieutenant Massey successfully dislodged the obstruction. The woman was rolled onto her side and the remaining food was fully cleared from her airway. She regained the ability to breathe, speak, and sit upright while awaiting the arrival of emergency medical services. Lieutenant Massey's rapid assessment, calm demeanor, and decisive actions under extreme circumstances unquestionably saved this woman's life. His actions reflect the exceptional training, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to the preservation of life.
Our next item of business regards the approval of minutes. We've all been supplied a copy of the minutes from our regular meeting on February 3rd, 2026. I ask for a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Charity, please call the voice vote.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Our next item of business, Mr. E. Kelly.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I'm happy to present an executive division item today. This is item number 1363. So submitted for today for your consideration and approval of the authority is a proposed naming designation for the East-West Connector Turnpike as designated by House Concurrent Resolution 1019, which passed by unanimous consent through the Oklahoma House of Representatives and the Oklahoma Senate last week. With your permission, Mr. Chairman, I'll read the resolution. Whereas, as part of the Access Oklahoma Long Range Plan, the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority is advancing the planned turnpike corridor extending from Interstate 44 east to Interstate 35 near Indian Hills Road and continuing east and north to Interstate 40 at Interstate 335, the Kickapoo Turnpike, to provide an additional safe, high-speed connection between these major interstate routes to complete a much-needed loop around the Oklahoma City metropolitan area. And whereas the legislature recognizes the significance of this route for transportation safety, regional connectivity, and interstate commerce and growth, and finds it appropriate to designate an official name for the turnpike to memorialize its importance. And whereas Toby Keith was born July 8, 1961 in Clinton, Oklahoma, raised in Moore, Oklahoma, and resided in Norman, Oklahoma, and rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most successful and recognizable country music artists in American history. And whereas throughout his extraordinary career, Toby Keith released numerous chart-topping hits, including Should Have Been a Cowboy, Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, The American Soldier, earning him widespread acclaim and a devoted fan base. And whereas Toby Keith sold more than 40 million albums worldwide, produced over 20 #1 singles, and received countless awards and honors for his musical achievements. And whereas he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum in recognition of his lasting impact on country music. And whereas, beyond his musical accomplishments, Toby Keith was a proud and vocal patriot who dedicated significant time and resources to supporting members of the U.S. Armed Forces with no financial benefit to himself, performing more than 300 shows on multiple USO tours in combat zones and uplifting American service members stationed overseas. And whereas Toby Keith passed away on February 5th, 2024, after a courageous battle with cancer, leaving behind a legacy of music, patriotism, generosity, and Oklahoma pride that will endure for generations. Now therefore be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the second session of the 60th Oklahoma Legislature, the Senate concurring therein, that the Oklahoma House of Representatives and the Oklahoma State Senate recognize Toby Keith as an Oklahoma legend. That the House of Representatives and the Oklahoma State Senate find it appropriate that a planned turnpike corridor extending from Interstate 44 east to Interstate 35 near Indian Hills Road and continuing east and north to Interstate 40 at Interstate 335, the Kickapoo Turnpike, be designated the Toby Keith Expressway in his honor. That copies of this resolution be distributed to the Speaker of the Oklahoma House of Representatives, the President Pro Tem of the Oklahoma State Senate, the Governor, the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority, and the family of Toby Keith. With concurrence from the House, Senate, and Toby Keith's family here today, staff and I have reviewed this item and I recommend its approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments? We have a motion for approval of item 1363.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you. So we do have that motion and approval. So Charity, please call the vote roll.
Mr. Behring,
Yes.
Mr. Cohn,
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth,
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes. Thank you. That item has been approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With your, if you would you allow me to recognize Representative Jason Blair from Moore and Senator Lisa Standridge from Norman. I think that Senator Standridge would like to say just a few comments to the board.
Please. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the authority, it's an honor to be here today to remember and honor Toby Keith, a true Oklahoma legend. He was a pillar of the Norman community and a proud Oklahoma native who never forgot where he came from. From Clinton to Moore to stages across the world, Toby represented this state everywhere he went, and he made so many others proud to call themselves Oklahomans. He gave us songs that celebrated hard work, faith, freedom, and the men and women who defend our great nation. He stood by our troops and through his nonprofit work helped families in need right here at home. Naming this expressway in his honor is a small tribute compared to the enormous legacy he leaves behind, but it's only fitting that his accomplishments and patriotism be remembered for generations to come. I'm especially glad that Toby's family could be here today. To all of you, thank you for sharing him with us. Thank you for the sacrifices you made so that he could have an amazing career and leave Oklahoma better off than when he found it. With this new road, Toby Keith will forever be a part of Oklahoma's history. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if we will take we had a mock-up of the sign made, and we'll take some pictures here. We also have copies of the signed resolution that passed through the legislature to provide as well to the family. And if we could pause here for a few minutes and take a few pictures.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I should have been a cowboy. I should have learned to rope and ride. Wearing my 6-shoe, riding my pony on a cat and drive.
As we continue, I do want to make a statement. It's our understanding that that's the first time in the history of the turnpike that the legislature has named a turnpike. So I can't think of a more fitting attribute to Toby and his memory, and I think it's just a wonderful thing that that's been done. So, thank you. Our next items of business are, and from the finance items, Mr. Todd Cone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item is item 1364 by Ms. Collins.
Good morning. Good morning, Chairman Jones, members of the authority. I submit for your consideration approval for the authority to request to authorize the director to negotiate and execute a service agreement with Kira Solutions for image review and processing services for the OTA license plate tolling system. The initial term of this agreement shall be 3 years with 2 optional 1-year extensions based on mutual agreed terms and conditions commencing April 1st, 2026. OTA will compensate Kira Solutions for image review services as follows. A scale cost for image review services ranging from 0.042 to 0.0504, and a one-time integration cost of $150,000, and an annual support and maintenance fees of $250,000. OTA selection of Kira Solutions is made pursuant to GSA contract GS 35F 103GA. And the staff has reviewed this and recommends approval. I'm here to answer any questions.
Are there any questions?
It's my understanding that this is a new vendor for us to use,
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, we currently have 2, and this is going to be an additional vendor.
and the concept behind that is we want to make sure we have enough backups in the event that something happens and we don't lose the option to obviously do this service.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, Mr. Chairman, I would move for approval of 1364 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1364. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Berry. Charity, please call the voice vote.
Mr. Sorry. Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Cone?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yeah.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Item 1364 has been approved.
Thank you, Ms. Collins. The next item, Mr. Chairman, is item 1365 by Ms. Gardner.
Good morning, Chairman Jones, members of the authority, Secretary Gatz. Item number 1365 is the payment register prepared by the Comptroller Division. This register contains all payments made by the OTA for the month of January 2026. Staff has reviewed this item and is recommended for approval.
Any questions? If not, Mr. Chairman, I would move for approval of item 1365 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1365. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Berry. Charity, please call the voice vote. That is hard to say.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Cone?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yeah.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Item 1365 has been approved. Our next items are from the Maintenance, Engineering, Right-of-Way, and Construction items. Mr. Will Berry, Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Jones. You went from the last to the top, Chairman. Going in reverse order today. So, item 1366.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and happy to say Secretary Gatz. From the Maintenance Division, submitted for the consideration of the authority is a request to approve the following maintenance service contract renewal. The contract is SPSW 24. This is for median concrete cable barrier, bridge wall, and interchange curb vacuum sweeping along the Turner, Will Rogers, H.E. Bailey, Muskogee, and Cimarron turnpikes. This is the third and final year of the original one-year agreement, which included the option for 2 additional one-year extensions. The original low bid for all 5 of these turnpikes was $431,080.20. However, for the 2026 contract year, the Turner Turnpike will exercise a third optional sweeping cycle at an additional cost of $44,931.10, increasing the total amount for 2026 to $476,011.30. This results in a total contract value of $1,338,171.60. Something I failed to mention was the awarded contractor is Unlimited Sweepers, and we were requesting the full $476,011.30. Maintenance staff has reviewed and recommends approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions?
How often are they swept?
So every turnpike is swept twice per year. The Turner, the wider it's getting, it seems like it's accumulating more along the inside barrier wall. So that's the reason for using that optional third sweep. It's something that we've never used before, really haven't had to, but we have noticed that with the excessive accumulation of material, especially over on the east end of the Turner, that it's needed. We're getting reports every now and then about the debris kicked up from semis and stuff traveling on inside lanes. So it's something that we're actually going to look at implementing on all the turnpikes, a third sweep, when this contract comes back up for rebid.
Okay.
Any more questions? If not, I make a motion that we approve item 1366 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1366. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Cohn. Charity, please call the voice vote.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Item 1366 has been approved.
Item 1367, Jeremy.
Thank you. Submitted for consideration and approval of the authority is a request to authorize the director to negotiate and execute lease purchase agreements for the acquisition of 25 John Deere 544 P-tier wheel loaders at unit prices not to exceed $199,800. To be amortized over a term of 48 months at an interest rate to be determined at the time of closing, and to be seller financed or other comparable form of bank financing, all subject to the approval by the Council of Bond Oversight. The lease term for our current loaders, which are CAT loaders, expires May 10th. So we went out and solicited quotes from several vendors on statewide contract. John Deere was the lowest bidder on that. The proposals received include the full cost of the equipment, comprehensive maintenance coverage, and an optional repurchase price at the end of the 48-month term at $140,000. So essentially, all we're responsible for is cleaning it and putting fuel in it. Under the financing structure required by our banking partners, we're effectively only financing $60,000 per unit over that 48-month term. The maintenance division, we've utilized this program over the last 10 years. It remains more cost-effective than renting comparable equipment, and it also ensures we consistently have newer, reliable, and ready-to-use loaders available at all times. The rental availability can be unpredictable. That is something that we always look at when this term comes up, but it's very unpredictable. This structure eliminates that operational uncertainty while providing predictable budgeting and life cycle management. The maintenance staff has reviewed and recommends approval, and I would be happy to answer any questions on this.
Any questions?
Is this a complete replacement for like number, or are we adding to, or?
We have added 2. We have 2 OTA-owned loaders that have reached the end of their life cycle. They're about 25 years old, and as you can imagine, the majority of our loaders spend most of their life in salt. So it's very difficult to keep all that salt from rusting. So 25 years out of a wheel loader is actually a pretty good life cycle. So
Okay.
we have added 2 additional, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I make a motion that we approve items 1367 as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. We have a motion for approval of item 1367. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Cohn. Charity, please call the voice
Mr.
vote.
Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Item 1367 has been approved.
Mr. Smith, item 1368.
Thank you. Submitted for consideration and approval of the authority is a request to authorize the director to negotiate and execute lease purchase agreements for the acquisition of 2 John Deere 624 P-tier wheel loaders at unit prices not to exceed $226,500 to be amortized over a term of 48 months at an interest rate to be determined at the time of closing, and to be seller financed or other comparable form of bank financing, all subject to approval by the Council of Bond Oversight. Now, I know you're thinking, what's different about here? These are 2 bigger loaders to accommodate our 2 snow blowers. I don't know if y'all remember the video from the last board meeting of those. Those are very heavy, so it requires additional lifting capacity. So that's what these 2 wheel loaders are. The optional repurchase price for these are $157,000 at the end of the 4-year term. So effectively, we're financing $69,500 per unit over the 4-year term. Very similar to the last agenda item. It's just, again, these are 2 larger wheel loaders. Maintenance staff has reviewed and recommends approval.
Any questions or comments?
Again, is this a replacement of the number we have currently?
Yes, sir. These are to replace 2 of our larger cat loaders that are currently hooked up to snow blowers. Now, we have the option as well. These come with loader buckets. So when the snow blowers are not needed, which we're in Oklahoma, so they're not needed too often, we're still able to load all of our trucks with these loaders and also do all of our other maintenance activities throughout summer with these as well.
Thank you.
Any more questions? I'll make a motion that we approve item 1368 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1368. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Combs. Charity, please call the voice.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Item 1368 has been approved.
Thank you. The next item is item 1369, which will be presented by Mr. Butler.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Berry. Evidently, somebody's been complaining about going last, haven't they? Won't mention any names. Good morning, Chairman Jones, members of the board. Good to see everyone here this morning. Engineering Division has 2 items we'd like to present for consideration today. That's items 1369 and 1370. Also got 1 information-only item I'll present there at the end. Our first item is 1369. This is a construction contract award for 3 projects. I'll go through all 3 of these projects and then make a recommendation for approval at the end. First project's IN 36601A. This project includes the construction of the southbound entrance ramp and the northbound exit ramp at Reagan Road on the Indian Nation Turnpike to complete the Diamond Interchange near milepost 81.4 in Pittsburgh County. This project includes reconstruction of Reagan Road and substructure repairs to TPO Bridge 22.65. Happy to say we had 9 bidders on the project. Built Right Construction was our low bidder, the amount of $5,383,498.10. This is about 11.5% under the engineer's estimate. For years, this has been a half interchange down on the Indian Nation Turnpike, so this will complete that into a full diamond. It'll make it much more safer, obviously. You know, I think on Friday and Saturday night down there, once in a while, people are hopping on, going the wrong way to gain access to the turnpike. So it'll be a great safety improvement for any wrong way drivers down there. And also, our Jeff Garter was down in that part of the state here a few weeks ago and actually spoke with the city council or the town council there at Indianola, and they're very excited to see this project coming their way. Any questions?
I didn't see a Turner Turnpike contract of these 3. Why is that? It's kind of new.
Sorry about that, Mr. Cohn. Number 2. This is project EWC 28103A. This project includes the reconstruction of 2 existing City of Moore wastewater treatment plant, 36-inch effluent lines from the east side of the Canadian River east to the existing treatment plant on the east side of I-35 and north of Indian Hills Road. The existing effluent lines are located within the footprint of the proposed east-west connector turnpike and require relocation prior to the construction of the proposed turnpike. This project's located in Cleveland County. We had 5 bidders on the project. You can see there the low bidder, Sherwood Construction, the amount of $22,923,370.80. This is about 13.8% under the engineer's estimate. Also, as part of this project, the city of Moore has already secured the pipe for this project. We'll be reimbursing them via agreement for that material in the future as well. Happy to answer any questions. Okay, third project here, this is WRMC 147. This is a capital plan project, the pavement rehabilitation of asphalt on the Will Rogers Turnpike from milepost 312.61 to 320.02. This is in Ottawa County. Had 3 bidders on the project. Apex Central's our low bid in the amount of $7,065,295.71, and this is about 29% below the engineer's estimate. Pretty aggressive bids. 2 major pay items contributed to that, and that was the asphalt and also the cold milling amounted for about $1.7 million of that underage. Any questions on this project?
No, it just looks like we continue to get really good
We
bids.
do. Yes, very, very happy to see that. And with that, if there's no further questions, staff's reviewed these, and of course, we recommend approval.
Any other comments or questions? I'll make a motion that we approve item 1369 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1369. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Cohn. Charity, please call the voice vote.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, item 1369 has been approved.
Mr. Butler.
Item 1370, this is for separate project agreements submitted for the consideration of the authorities. A request to authorize the director to negotiate separate project agreements with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, City of Oklahoma City, City of Edmond, Town of Arcadia, Town of Luther, Town of Wellston, City of Chandler, Town of Davenport, City of Stroud, Town of Depew, City of Bristow, Oklahoma County, Lincoln County, and Creek County. These agreements will outline funding, design, construction, maintenance, right-of-way, and utility responsibilities for the Access Bond Program projects on the Turner Turnpike. Staff's reviewed these items, and we recommend approval.
Any questions?
I'm assuming all these are individual.
These are all, yeah,
Contracts.
these are all individual project agreements. Some of them are potential. We may end up not having any agreements with some of these entities, but there's potential that we will with all of them that are listed.
Okay.
If we've missed anybody along the way, we'll bring that back in a future agenda item for authorization.
When you're addressing Mr. Cohn's comments
Yes,
on the
there's our
Turner
Turner
Turnpike.
item right there, yeah.
Any other comments? If not, I'll make a motion that we approve item 1370 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1370. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Cohn. Charity, please call the voice vote.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, item 1370 has been approved.
Yes, and the last one here for me is an information only item, no vote required. Just wanted to bring this back to the board. This is an emergency repair project, WRER 013. This is emergency repairs of TPU Bridge 44.13 near milepost 285, near Veneta in Craig County. This bridge carries East 290 Road over the Will Rogers Turnpike. We had 4 bidders on this project, and the low bidder was Built Right Construction, the amount of $37,454. This was a bridge that our maintenance staff noticed had a beam that was defective, obviously from a bridge strike or an overheight vehicle strike. This occurred back in October, November timeframe. It was just a little heat straightening project. There was no need to declare emergency for the project, so it's gone through the ODOT letting process. So we're just now getting to award it. So repairs will be minor. Again, it's just heat straightening. There was no insurance on this project. Again, was not declared an emergency.
Appears the bids are just a little higher than what the estimate was.
Yeah, just a little bit higher. Again, it's just a minor heat straightening, so those sometimes are hard to judge.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Butler.
thank you.
Next item is item 1371, which will be presented by Mr. Gore.
Good morning, Vice Chairman Berry. Today, item 1371 is a on-demand demolition service contract modification submitted for consideration of authority. Is requested the following item to be approved as approved. Is a contract on-demand demolition service modification number 2 with Robin Hausner Demolition with a not-to-exceed amount of $1 million. This contract modification is for additional on-demand demo services. The on-demand consultant and service agreement is a per partial not-to-exceed contract to provide demo services as directed by the OTA. The amount under this contract modification number 2 shall not exceed $1 million, which brings the revised contract amount to $1,740,000. With that, any questions?
Are there any questions? If not, I make a motion that we approve item 1371 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1371. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Cohn. Chair, please call the voice vote.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Item 1371 has been approved.
Mr. Gore.
Item 1372 is a on-demand right-of-way services submitted for the consideration of authority. Is request the following items to be approved or disapproved. Some of the items as follows. On-demand right-of-way service modification number 2 for Paladin Land Services for not to exceed amount of $1,700,000. A on-demand not to exceed modification number 1 for Terra Resources for $1,260,000. And then number 3, on-demand right-of-way service contract mod number 1 for Western Land Services for not to exceed amount of $1,260,000. These contract modifications are for additional on-demand right-of-way services. Each on-demand service agreement is per parcel, the not to exceed contract to provide right-of-way services as directed by the OTA. These contract modifications are not to exceed amount for representative contract modifications. Each separate contract as a modified shall not exceed $2 million.
Do all of these companies do the same thing, just different areas?
Yeah, so we have about 6 companies that we use to secure and handle the in-between with the landowners. And as we kind of workload, kind of allocate between the companies as far as where they work, we just depend on what their availability and our need is, we assign those tasks out as needed.
So we're just kind of getting other people just for the workload?
Correct. They're already
Okay.
on the same. Had them been using them, we're just now at a point that we need to request additional funds to
Okay.
assign them more parcels to.
Gotcha.
That means we're getting more done.
I get it.
And then these are across the access
Correct.
program? Okay.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I make a motion that we approve item 1372 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1372. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Cohn. Charity, please call the voice vote.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Item 1372 has been approved.
Mr. Gore.
Item 1373, declare surplus property and authorize the director to sell, lease, or otherwise dispose of the same. The following parcels consistent of approximate acres at the location identified below were previously acquired by the authority. Parcel EWC 28801A, parcel number 12 in section 34, township 10 north, range 4 west, approximately 5.28 acres on the east-west connector in McLean County. A staff review of the property was conducted, and it was determined that a portion of the described parcel and approximate acreage identified was acquired as unremittent and is not needed for the construction maintenance needs of the turnpike system. Based on the determination, the staff recommends the authority consider and vote to declare the attached described parcel surplus and authorize the director to obtain a survey, appraisal, sell, lease, the authorized dispose of property, including use and land swap to acquire other properties needed for the turnpike system. So on this parcel, I'd like to note that during negotiations, the landowner, we started at partial take, and ultimately we agreed that for them, they wanted to be a total acquisition, and so that's what we ultimately determined at the request of the landowner.
Any other questions or comments for item 1373?
No, it's obvious, we've reached impasse with this, and this is the next step to,
This is surplus. So we,
oh, the surplus,
yeah,
yes.
so we've
Yeah,
acquired
yeah.
this in
Correct.
agreement with the landowners, and this is,
Jumping ahead, sorry.
Yep.
Any questions or comments?
Nope.
If not, I make a motion that we approve items 1373 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1373. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Cone. Charity, please call the roll vote.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Cone?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, item 1373 has been approved.
Mr. Gore?
yes, item 1374. Consider and adopt a resolution of necessity for the condemnation of certain real property interest along various corridors. Submitted for the approval of the authority is an item to consider and adopt a attached resolution of necessity for a condemnation of certain real properties interest along the east-west connector and the turnpike system. So I bring to you today is 19 parcels, of which 2 parcels are due to title issues. The 9 parcels that OT has not received, 9 of those parcels that are on there, we have not been able to receive a response from the landowners, and so we're moving forward because of non-responsiveness. The OTA has been working to secure properties needed for the project through negotiation, ranging in time from a few months to over 6 months. As always, the OTA tries to avoid securing the properties through court process and tries to reach an agreement with all landowners, though at times we are unable to do so, which requires us to bring a resolution to the board for project to move forward. So kind of also like to note, over the past, as I always say, is, board gives us resolution necessity. That does not stop us negotiating. We continue to work with landowners. So over the past, the board has approved 38 parcels for resolution. Of those, 24 were for financial impasse. Of those, we have been able to reach an agreement on 11. 3 of those are still verbal, so we hadn't signed, but we have verbally reached agreement, so that gives 11. So that of those 38, only 15 are actually looking to proceed through the actual court process.
Any questions or comments? If not, I make a motion that we approve items 1374 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1374. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Cone. Charity, please call the roll vote.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Cone?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, item 1374 has been approved.
The last item is item 1375. Mr. Garter.
Good morning, Chairman Jones, members of the board, Secretary Gatz. It's good seeing you up there again. And now that Jeremy had us change the order here, I was starting to wonder if my item was even in here, but it is, so. Presented for the consideration of the authority is a request that the following change order be approved. This change order revises quantity of 8 existing items, adds 2 new items, and credits 91 days to the contract time. These changes result in an overall cost savings to the project and were at request of the Oklahoma Highway Patrol for their new facility on Riverside on the Creek Turnpike. This item has been reviewed by staff and is recommended for approval, and as always, be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
No.
If not, I make a motion that we approve item 1375 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1375. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Cone. Charity, please call the roll vote.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Cone?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, item 1375 has been approved. I want to remind everybody that the board does not set the order of agenda items. So that's something you all need to work on internally. Now on to our reporting portion of our agenda. Our first report is the Highway Patrol report. Major Allred.
For the month of January, troopers made 6,322 violator contacts, assisted 1,302 motorists, and investigated 140 motor vehicle collisions, with 4 fatalities reported. Troopers worked 1,280 shifts and averaged 245 miles per shift for a total of 313,761 miles driven. The Turnpike System's 4 reported fatalities for the month of January were on the Creek Turnpike, where a driver was killed when the driver was traveling at a high rate of speed, took evasive action, departed the roadway, and struck a tree. The Turner Turnpike, the driver's vehicle was parked on the inside shoulder and was struck in the rear by another vehicle. The driver had gotten out of the vehicle and into the bed of the pickup to try to secure some items. At the time of the collision, the driver of the other vehicle that ran off the road and hit the pickup was actually admitted to being distracted while driving, utilizing a cell phone. The H.E. Bailey Turnpike, driver was killed while traveling the wrong lane of traffic and striking another vehicle head-on. Vehicle rolled and for an unknown number of times, coming to rest on its top and then catching fire. And lastly, the Kickapoo Turnpike, the driver was killed when the vehicle departed the roadway and continued through the grass median before making contact with a bridge embankment. In all these instances, except for the Turner Turnpike where the subject was outside of the vehicle, seatbelts were in use. This is these can be solely chalked up to high speeds and inattentive driving this time. There were no aircraft enforcement missions flown for January. There were a few on the schedule that were postponed due to weather or other circumstances, but you do have my word. I will continue to work on that to get those on the regular for you. So, any questions? Oh, I almost forgot. We had one drug interdiction on the Will Rogers Turnpike that resulted in 10 pounds of methamphetamine being taken off the road, and I believe 20 pounds of illicit marijuana. So, all right, now, any questions?
Any questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate your work as always. Our next report is our consulting engineer report, Mr. Jimmy Sparks.
Good morning, Chairman Jones, members of the authority, Director E. Kelly, and Secretary Gatz. Great to see you. Concerning a trust required services, our 2026 in-service facility inspections are underway, and kind of as I touched on last month, we'll be looking at the capital projects and how they align with access projects where they do kind of meet and kind of work on the priority. And as we talked about a Turner pavement rehab, how many of those we need to do before the access projects come through. So one of the things we'll be looking at this year in our process. For the last several years, I've been reporting monthly on the number of special overloads that are checked and potentially permitted on the Turnpike system. When OTA completed the AET conversion a little over a year ago, whenever that was, we had a lot of restrictions because of the cache lane widths. That width that was allowed under the permit load was 13 feet 6 inches wide. We're currently working to verify that loads up to 16 feet can maneuver our side gates, which will match what ODOT does on the interstate system. So we've been tasked with verifying all the ramps to make sure we meet that 16-foot width clearance. And several instances we found so far have just been bollards that need to be removed. There's places where the pavement necks down. We may need to widen some pavement. So I know there's been questions. I know Ms. Weber in the past has asked about some demolition or some removal of the old cache lanes. And so you may see some areas where some things are being removed just to allow for up to 16-foot wide loads to travel on the Turnpike system. As far as overload trucks, we checked 43 in February, so as always, I say every month, we continue to see a lot of activity there. It was not in the monthly report, it'll be included next month, but on February 24th, Turner maintenance crews discovered impact to Bridge 38.5, which is Kendrick Road over the Turner Turnpike. It's between Chandler and Stroud. We observed damage to 3 different beams. Don't know when it was hit exactly or who hit it. But it will need to be repaired. Should be a minor heat straightening, as Darren talked about on the Will Rogers one, and no closures were needed on the county road above. Capital plan project summary is in our monthly report, and as always, happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thanks, Jimmy. Our next report is our trustee report, Ms. Rachel Singleton.
Good morning, Chairman Jones, members of the authority, Secretary Getz, Director Kelly. As bond trustee to the authority, all monthly debt service transfers were made for the semi-annual payments due to the bondholders as required by the trust agreement. To our knowledge, all other requirements set forth in the trust agreement have been satisfied. Questions on my report?
Any questions? Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
I mean, Rachel, sorry. I'm reading ahead.
I thought I was done then. All right, Chairman Jones, members of the authority, Director E. Kelly, and welcome Secretary Getz. I'm happy to report that despite significant winter weather in January, net revenues for the month were 4.7% above January 2025. Even though you see a decrease in transactions, you'll see the truck traffic really held its own. And in particular, the Will Rogers and the Indian Nation both had increases in traffic, which they do tend to have significant truck traffic on those roads. And also, I think the truck traffic being on a significant part of I-44 leads to that revenue being up as well. Also, you have to give a shout out, obviously, to maintenance for clearing those roads and making it possible for those trucks to actually get their goods across the country. That's really important. Also, expenses for the month were significantly below budgeted projections, but that's pretty typical for January, and so we do expect expenses to be more in line with budgeted projections as the year progresses. I'll take any questions.
Any questions? Good report as always. Thanks,
All right,
Wendy.
thanks.
Director report, Director Joey Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I feel like I've had 2 board meetings today. Just want to set one thing straight. As I understand, there was some discussion around the order of the agenda. I am in charge of the order of the agenda. So I want that to be really, really clear. I will also say the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I'm looking at Jeremy just so that everybody knows. I thought I'd give a little bit of a construction update today. The Turner Turnpike at Stroud is complete for the new service plaza. We've paved that to be the ultimate width. It's still going to be striped as 4 lanes. The new tire shop opened just after the last board meeting that we had. So just a little bit of an update on some of these projects since our last board meeting, because we're seeing lots of things occur. The project east of Bristow, just a few days after our last board meeting, we started pulling the cones off and opening the 6 lanes on the Turner east of Bristow. It was our first access program to break ground and opened on February 16th, and I've confirmed with Jeff. Where's Jeff? There he is. Jeff speeds 80 miles an hour in the 6-lane open section now, right? Yeah, so he's nodding his head yes. So we've got that open. You know, a lot of people ask why we started on the east end during the Driving Forward program. It's where the most accidents were occurring on the Turner Turnpike. And as we've opened it to 6 lanes, we still have a few accidents. We can't drive everybody's vehicle for them and put down their distractions and make sure they go the speed limit. But the number of accidents have dropped significantly. We've seen a tremendous safety increase in the 6-lane portion where we've got that open. And really excited to open that 6 miles east of Bristow. Work that is just now starting, the John Kilpatrick Turnpike work on the west side to widen to 6 lanes has just begun. Traffic cones have been set in that area, traffic's been shifted over, and then we'll be closing lanes in off-peak times during the night to set barrier wall so that we'll provide a safe work zone for our construction crews. We did have a lane closure while they were setting the lane closure up just a few weeks ago. The arrow board was run into by a driver that just wasn't paying attention. The most dangerous time in a work zone really is when you're trying to start the work zone. So you're pulling out into traffic and starting to place the first cone. Somebody has to do that. And during just the first few cones that were placed out, we had an arrow board that was hit as well as a highway patrol car. So we're doing everything that we can to try to get people to pay attention and slow down. Still having a few issues with that. Ultimately, the goal is get it 6 lane, get it open, and turn this into just a once in a while maintenance project where we got to go repair a panel and make these roads much, much safer. I understand that when I was out of the room earlier, we awarded the Indianola project. This is to add the additional ramps at the Indianola exit off of the Indian Nation Turnpike. Being from McAllister and having my first recollection of turnpikes be the Indian Nation Turnpike, my entire life, I have seen somebody drive the wrong way down those ramps at one time or another, and I drive that turnpike routinely. And I've seen people go the wrong way. Matter of fact, I know that Jeff went and spoke in Indianola to some of the folks, and one of the comments that was made was, good, we won't have to drive the wrong way down the ramp anymore. This is all about a safety improvement at that location, an access improvement at that location. They'll have better access to head south or to come from the south and get there, and it'll be much, much safer. I appreciate the board awarding that project today. We're working on Blanco. I wish I had an exact date update, but I know we've secured a lot of the property in that location, and we're about to start moving utilities there. And as soon as that project's ready to go, we want to get it in there. It's not about, there's not a current half interchange there, so it's not that situation. But if you're a truck, if you're familiar with the area, and I know you are, Mr. Titsworth, if you come from Kiowa and head and make the wrong turn at Pittsburgh in a semi-truck, you're not going to turn around safely until you get to Hartshorn or to Haleyville. And that's a long way out of the way. If somebody gets in that area, it tremendously improves the access. Right now, to get from Blanco to McAllister is probably a 20 or 30 minute drive. When this is done, it's 5 miles up the turnpike. I mean, it's going to be a tremendous access improvement there.
And if you look at the length of the Indian Nation, that makes access from one end to the other.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And that's really been one of the goals with the access program and where we're adding all of the interchanges, all made possible because we went cashless. But after we went cashless, we can put those interchanges where they need to be. We would like to have an interchange every 4 or 5 miles. Major Ulrey would tell you that they want an emergency cut through. I want to have an interchange so that it's a safe place to turn around. It is a challenge on our rural turnpikes to get turned around. It's a bigger challenge on our much heavier traveled turnpikes to get turned around. We've had some terrible accidents in some of those. Somebody misses an exit and doesn't want to drive 15 miles to the next interchange. By adding these interchanges every 5, 6, 7 miles, maybe we can get people to take the safe way and make the U-turn on an interchange. So that's what these projects are absolutely all about. So excited to get that one started. It'll be the first one on the Indian Nation Turnpike. Blanco's coming next, and I know we've got work at 69 Highway and then a new interchange that's being proposed at Tannehill Road. So really excited about all of those. In addition to that, want to talk about a project that is substantially complete from the Turnpike side, and we're addressing some of the punch list items on the Route 66 side, but a very significant, and I'm going to look at the Secretary of Transportation here in just a second to get some additional details maybe from the ODOT side of this, but on the Turner Turnpike at Wellston, we've completed a major improvement. That bridge, as Jimmy reported last month, was our last fracture critical bridge, so it had members that if one member failed, we'd have to take the bridge out of service. It's been a challenge. It was a very difficult location to work. It's the reason that it's been there for 75 years and hadn't been replaced. It's a really tough place to work. The only way we could do that was with a major widening. Otherwise, it would have been done a long time ago. So part of this included a 3-mile loop on the south side of Wellston to provide local access. That's the image that's actually on the top part, is the loop that was built for a detour of Route 66 while the contractor, Sherwood Construction, went to work immediately in the middle, built the bridge, lowered Route 66 in that exact location, and then provided what's going to be, this picture's from a few weeks ago, but what's going to be a very iconic location. Wellston just happens to be within about a mile of the midpoint of Route 66 in Oklahoma. So when you talk about Route 66 coming in from the northeast and exiting the west side of our state, the middle is right here in Wellston. So we've got some artwork that we're going to unveil, and that date is April 23rd at 10 a.m. And anybody that's either here with us today, all the board members, anybody is welcome to come to that. I know we're probably going to have some additional attendees.
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
Please.
That's an example of a partnership project between Turnpike and ODOT that has turned out exceptionally well. The improvements that were made on Route 66 proper, the conditions in Wellston have improved dramatically. So that's something we're very proud of. As Joe points out, this being the centennial year of Route 66, there will be celebrations all up and down the route. I sit on the United States Route 66 Centennial Commission. That group meets in person, not on a regular basis, but occasionally. Last in-person meeting was in Albuquerque last year, along with a Route 66 Summit meeting. That group is coming to Oklahoma, and they will be present at the ribbon cutting that Joe's talking about on the morning of April the 23rd. We will host the second annual Mother Road Summit at the History Center here in Oklahoma City for the nation. That'll be a organized Route 66 Commission meeting along with a afternoon's worth of Lieutenant Governor Pinnell and other dignitaries and speakers that'll be invited. So again, that's an open registration event. Part of the run-up to really the kickoff for the Route 66 summer and spring events that'll lead us into next fall for the birthday celebration. This ribbon cutting and the Route 66 Plaza that Joe's talking about, not just a celebration of the success of the Turner Turnpike Bridge replacement and the improvements on 66, but the plaza itself is going to be extraordinary. So really looking forward to getting that done. The FHWA, Federal Highway Administration Administrator out of Washington DOT, his name is Sean McMaster. He's confirmed that he'll be in attendance. So again, we look forward to having him in Oklahoma, not just to showcase that very special Route 66 Plaza, but give him an idea how the Department of Transportation and the Turnpike Authority work together to make a big difference for the citizens of the state of Oklahoma. So it'll be a great event in April, and we are absolutely excited and looking forward to it.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Shifting gears just a little bit, a couple weeks ago in February, we released our latest legislative pamphlet. It's available online on our website. That's the cover that's being shown on the screen there. You can look on, if you go to the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority's website, you can click on About, and then it's the OTA Annual Outlook, and it's got the last 3 or 4 versions of that we've put out. They're available there. We also have some paper copies. I saw that Joni has them in front of her here in the room if there's somebody here who'd like to have a copy of that. If you want additional copies, we'll be happy to provide those for you to hand out or to give to anybody that you know that might be looking for one. But that every year we put that together. It's kind of a look back at the previous year as far as revenues go, and a look forward at the future of what this year looks like, or at least what the Turnpike Authority is anticipating for this year. So it's a great one-stop location to really learn quite a bit about the ongoing stuff that we have going on for the Turnpike, inclusive of our capital plan, the Access Oklahoma plan, and kind of a place to really get a pulse of what's going on at OTA. Shifting gears back to maintenance, where I started. We were, a couple weeks ago, it's been, God, I've got my dates messed up now, but about 3 maybe weeks ago, we had some tremendous fires in northwest Oklahoma. Thousands of acres were burned, including the hay reserves for a lot of farmers up in that area. Yesterday, actually last week, I got a call from the Emergency Management Director, Annie Vest, and on behalf of the Secretary of Ag, Blaine Arthur, they'd identified some hay that needed to be delivered to Northwest Oklahoma. Both ODOT and OTA are ready to try to serve in that capacity from around the state where hay can be transferred. And so in partnership with Oklahoma Emergency Management, we loaded the hay actually on Friday, and maintenance made a 3 semi-load delivery yesterday, got home late last night, delivered up by Laverne, as I understand it. And they had folks, as you saw in the video, ready to offload that hay. They are going through it fast. There's nothing on the ground for the animals in that area to eat, so they are still requesting donations. There are a lot of people who are offering hay from other states. We're not traveling outside of Oklahoma to go get it. I was visiting with Director Secretary Gatz the other night and said, if you'll drop it off in Medford or somewhere in Oklahoma, we'll pick it up and take it from there. So if somebody is out there that is wanting to donate hay, please reach out. There's a way to reach out through the Department of Agriculture. There are restrictions on where hay can come from and move to, and so we're just trying to follow that, and we'll work through emergency management to continue that over the next couple of weeks till we get some rain and the grass greens up. Lastly, I'll touch on the thing that Jimmy did, which is part of our safety message. We are working to allow 16-foot wide loads on the Turnpike network. As of late last week, we had opened up most of the Creek Turnpike with the exception of where we have construction, the Will Rogers and the Turner Turnpike. When we had a meeting with Size and Weights early in the morning one day, they'd already had 15 requests to use some of those routes. So this is going to add additional traffic on our network. But as somebody who lives in rural Oklahoma and drives the 2-lane no-shoulder portions of the Department of Transportation highways, I will tell you this is a tremendous safety improvement for our state. So we're going to have some additional wide loads going down the turnpike. This will all be in 4-lane divided sections, and this will be much safer than driving down rural 2s. It's also a much more direct route. So we're a major manufacturing state. We make a lot of stuff here, especially in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and a lot of big stuff. And making it easier to get it around our state and out of our state really helps our state tremendously. So just as Jimmy said, maintenance has been working to remove some of those pinch points at some of the ramps. We're making sure that these folks have a pike pass and permitting now some additional, a little bit wider loads. Yesterday on my way east, it was around 5:30, 6 o'clock, I was on the phone with Trent, and in about 3 miles, I saw 3 wide loads headed, from Tulsa toward Oklahoma City. So we are going to start seeing those on our network. That's not anything that it can't take. The roads are built for these heavy loads and wide loads, so we're excited to help Oklahoma move forward and really improve safety everywhere. And lastly, please buckle up and wear your seatbelt. Mr. Chairman, I'd answer any questions the board might have for me.
Any questions? I want to apologize to Secretary Gatz. I was remiss in not recognizing him at the beginning of this, so certainly I'm used to seeing you. So, but anyway, we're certainly glad you were able to come and join us, and you're welcome anytime. You're more than welcome to make any comments if you'd like.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One thing I would do is add a little bit of emphasis to what Joe was talking about with, we're coming up on April, which is also Work Zone Awareness Month. And the issues that we have in our construction work zones are absolutely critical. And we've got to continue to talk about the conditions that we experience out there, whether it is one of our trucks parked on the shoulder, taking care of the traveling public that gets hit by a distracted driver, whether that is activity that happens in our construction zones. The statistic that I'd leave you with is from 2022 to 2023, which is our most recent data run, fatalities in construction work zones in Oklahoma increased 106%, went from 16 to 33. And The contributing factors continue to be excessive speed and distracted driving, the two primaries. So we have got to continue to put an emphasis on that. We will run up next month to have our Work Zone Awareness Month, and we will put a big emphasis on that. But I'm going to continue to remind everybody at every opportunity, we've got to use every tool in the toolbox to try to get that message across. It's not just about our workers and the guys that are trying to keep the traveling public safe and make improvements to our system. It's about the folks that are traveling through those work zones. So appreciate the opportunity to be with the OTA board and with Turnpike today. Want to commend everybody on a great board meeting and an exceptional, and for the exceptional job that you do. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I know how important that the safety and seatbelt issue was with you when you ran OTA. And I want to tell you that Joe is continuing to carry that mantle. And should he forget, I'm always reminding him.
Thank you.
So we're doing everything we can to educate the public as well.
Thank you.
But certainly appreciate your comments and appreciate your attendance today. Thank you for coming. Any other questions, comments? Thanks, Joe. That concludes our meeting. I would ask for a motion for adjournment to our next meeting scheduled for Tuesday, April 7th, 2026 at 10 a.m.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you. Charity, please call the roll vote.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, we are adjourned.